Hi, it's Julie from the PMFRC, and welcome to our very last fireside chat for the year 2020. I have to tell you, we have saved our very best fireside chat for last this year. And I am really excited to be here with all of our special guests. I'm pretty sure that a lot of you are going to recognize some of the folks, other than Claudia, who's here all the time, but you might recognize some of our other guests. To the boys and girls that are watching, this is, if you are watching this live, your parents are going to be able to add some comments underneath the video. So if you have a question for any of our special guests today, you can ask your mom or dad to add that comment underneath, and we will be sure to ask that question of our guests. I'm just going to go around and introduce, for those of you who don't know our guests, Darby Briggs is here. Darby is on the PMFRC team, wearing her fancy elf hat. Claudia Beswick is here. Claudia is the executive director of the PMFRC and joins us for almost all of the fireside chats. And we also have two very special guests from the North Pole. We have Mrs. Claus and Santa, who are here. If you follow our Facebook page, you know that we have been asking some boys and girls to send us letters. A couple of you have sent us letters, but more than that, we've gotten a lot of questions from boys and girls. So what we've done is we're going to read a couple of the letters. We're going to ask some questions. Maybe we have some questions of our own for Santa and Mrs. Claus. Those burning questions that we've always wanted to know. So this is our big chance to get answers to those questions. Before we do start, I just wanted to notice that Mrs. Claus and Santa aren't in the same box on Zoom. Mrs. Claus, do you want to tell the boys and girls why you're calling in from different places?
Oh, yes. So this year's been a little special for everyone, as we know, and we've had to, because Santa's going to be going to the different houses, we've been isolating. So I'm staying back and taking care of operations while Santa is isolating with the reindeer before going to the houses to keep everyone safe.
So Santa's still at the North Pole, he's just at a different part.
Yes.
And you get to spend more time with the reindeer.
That's it. Always time with the reindeer. Merry Christmas.
Santa, other than the isolating and having to have a sleepover with the reindeer for a couple of weeks before the big day, how else has Christmas been different for you? Or are you not noticing a big change in the North Pole?
Well, no, there's not a big change up in the North Pole because we're isolated to start with. So we don't have a lot of outside contact. And so up here, it's pretty normal. But it is kind of hard when I do meet the kids to see their faces, to see what their expressions are. So, but it's fun because you can read it in their eyes more, what they're thinking or whether they're smiling, you can tell.
So if a little boy or girl comes to visit you and they're worried that Santa didn't see that they were smiling because of their mask, you've got that covered?
Oh yeah, you can see by the sparkle in their eyes.
And
it works every time.
And you can still tell which kids have been naughty and nice, even with the mask on.
Oh, yes. But basically, most kids are nice. They just got to, use a little bit more control. They got to, some of them just don't think fast enough to remember that they got to be nice.
All kids are good. All right. One of the questions that we had from some of the kids coming in, actually, a lot of the questions we had were about Rudolph. And I think we can all agree that Rudolph is one of the celebrities from the North Pole that we have the most questions about. Kids want to know whether Rudolph is going to have to wear a mask this year. Mrs. Claus, do you have a special mask made up for Rudolph?
Oh no, Rudolph, like I was talking about, he's been isolating with Santa and he's not going to be going into any of the houses. So there's no risk there. He's going to be outside and on the roof. No special mask.
Now, does his nose get hot through the night or does it just stay reindeer temperature even though it's lit up the entire time?
By the end of the evening, it's quite hot, but most of the time it's quite normal temperature. Yes, there's no risk of any fire or anything like that.
I was just wondering if it hurt him. I hadn't thought about that, but that's a good thing to know for those people who might, and it's probably better for him than if it's snowing then, because it sort of cools him off a little bit.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Darby, I know that you have a question that came in for Santa, and it's more of a logistics question. So do you want to ask Santa and see what his answer is?
I sure do. Hi, Santa. So my question for you is one of the kids. is, do all the presents fit in the sleigh, or do you have to go back to the North Pole a few times during the night to get another load?
Usually we could get them all in the sleigh, but the problem being is when you hit really rough weather, you could end up losing some. So we always have time, and the elves are back at the North Pole making extra toys all evening, all night to make sure we have enough. So if we have to, we just change one of our routes enough that we can drive by, pick them up, and away we go again. But only if we have to. Sometimes we can do the whole thing without, if we get good weather.
Now, if a boy or girl is worried that they haven't got their letter in time, they might be worried that things are coming in a little bit late and that there's sort of last minute things that they didn't really get to. Mrs. Claus, do you keep watching for letters coming in right to the very end?
Oh, yes. And we're so fortunate now to have most of our letters come in as well virtually. So we're monitoring this around the clock.
Do you have a special IT elf that's there in case there's a computer problem?
We have an entire section of IT elves. Oh, yes. Quite sophisticated.
Do you like getting an occasional letter on paper?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful to get the letters as well, and we do save them. And it's great to be able to write back. There's a difference between the paper feel and the electronic feel, but just in case, we always have everything backed up as well on our virtual system.
And all the boys and girls, so all the boys and girls have taken the time to make you like pictures and color things for you. You keep those.
All of them. All of them.
Well, that's good to know. So keep those coming, boys and girls. I know that Claudia has a question. Actually, has a letter that she wants to read, and it's from one of her friends. Can you read that letter for us, Claudia?
And hi, Santa. Mrs. Claus, thanks for joining us today. So here's the letter. My name is Rory, and I am 6 years old. This year, I have been a little naughty, but I can explain. For Christmas this year, I would really love a Nintendo Switch, Luigi Mansion, and to see my nanny in PEI. I know that you still have no trouble getting here, even with the virus.
Santa, do you have an answer for Rory?
Yes, because of COVID, you can't visit your nanny maybe, but we were just talking about letters. If you want to make her really happy, send her a letter. And if you're only 6, you can get mom or dad or brothers and sisters to help you write it, and that will make her so happy. And for the other presents, Santa's still going to be able to get out and deliver all the toys and presents that people need.
So Rory asked a question that a couple of people asked about, or made me think about. How does Santa know if a boy's been good or bad? Because sometimes moms and dads will say that if you're not good, we're going to tell Santa. How do moms and dads actually communicate with Santa and Mrs. Claus? Mrs. Claus, you're in the IT center. Do you want to answer that? You're sort of controlling the letters this year.
I don't want to give away all our secrets, but I will say this. There is a very complex network of inter-allied elf-human intelligence going on. So we do have a very adaptable and versatile system that enables us to be able to see what the parents want us to see when the behaviors aren't well. So I don't want to give away everything, but yes, we work with the elves.
So the elves help you to get the information back and forth.
Yeah.
I think Mrs. Claus is trying to be a little bit cagey here so boys and girls can't interrupt the system. Now, when you find out who, and this is just a question I've just thought about, when you find out who has been good or who's bad, is there like a paper list, or how do you keep track?
Well, now with the electronic systems, we do get pings.
Okay. So it just sort of updates automatically. Okay, that's good to know. Another job for the IT elves.
You have to behave now, Julie.
I do. That's that was really my concern. I got to tell you, it was really a self-interested kind of question. Darby, you have another letter. Do you want to read your next letter from our friend?
Sure. I've got a letter here from 6-year-old Mila. And Mila has 3 questions for you, Santa. So the first one is, what is your favorite color?
Oh, my favorite color is red. Santa likes red.
And my second question from Mila for you is, how old are you?
I am as old as my nose and a wee bit older than Mrs. Claus.
Good to know. And the last question from Mila is, how do the reindeer fly?
The elves and I, when we were first starting out, we were trying to make food for the reindeer because there's up north, there's not a lot. Well, we found special herbs and things that we could grow in our area. And then when we mixed them together to make food for the reindeer, we found out if they eat this food all year long, then they can fly. And they can fly anytime, not just at Christmas. But they most of the time it's like when kids play sports or they do anything or music or anything, they got to practice. Well, that's what the reindeer have to do because flying isn't easy. So they have to practice and practice all year round.
Oh,
Very
so
cool.
that's Claudia, do you have a question for Santa from one of our friends to share?
I do. Santa, do all of the elves make toys, or do they just have other jobs as well?
Well, like Mrs. Claus was saying, there's the IT ones, there's the ones that look after the mail, there's the ones that look after the buildings and look after the machinery and equipment, and the ones that look after the reindeer. So there's all assortment of jobs. So they don't have to all stay one job. And what the elves like is that they can actually change jobs because most of them know how to do the other jobs. So they got lots of time. They can train, they can do other jobs if they're to find out what they're interested in.
So
And that's it.
after Christmas, do the elves get like a little vacation? Do they have a chance to sort of relax and take some time to their, because I imagine it's a busy time for you all right now.
Yes, the elves get a bit of time off too. They don't. We're up north. We don't really need time off because then you get kind of bored. So we get a little bit off, and then we're back into starting the toys for next year. But we can start off at a slower pace because if we time it out, the elves get time off when they want it.
Now we had a question about elves. Elves are you have girl elves and boy elves, correct?
Yes.
And do
yes,
they have
we have both.
And do they have girlfriends and boyfriends? Like, do elves get married or?
Yes. Yes, it's up to them. It's the same as anybody. They do what they want. It's like everybody has freedom. They can choose on their own.
Perfect. That was one of the questions we had. So glad we have the answer to that. Darby, would you like to read your other letter?
Sure. So this one, Santa, comes from 4-year-old Victor. And Victor has 3 questions for you as well. What is your favorite shape?
Well, my favorite shape is actually round because the world is round. A lot of the cookies are round. Pies are round. Bites you eat on her, a lot of them are round. That round is my favorite shape.
Well, speaking of cookies, that's her second question. That's Victor's second question is, what is your favorite kind of cookie?
Whatever cookie I happen to have in my hand at the time is my favorite for a few minutes. And then I find another type. There is so many different cookies in the world. Every country you go to, every place, they make different. You could have oatmeal cookies at 3 different houses and they're all different. So you could have any kind of cookie. So best not to have a favorite except for the one you're eating. That way you can still eat all the rest.
Sounds like an excellent plan to me. And I think Victor has one more.
Good job.
Victor has one more question. And it's, do you like dinosaurs? And which one is your favorite?
I like dinosaurs. Santa likes dinosaurs. He likes all the animals because they're basically friendly too if you stay out of their way. And so Santa likes all animals. And as a favorite, I don't know if I have a favorite, although I do like that Bigfoot on the Ice Age movie. I like him.
It's a
And
good-
I like all his friends there too. So,
Now,
so
Mrs.
those
Claus,
ones I like.
Mrs. Claus, does Santa have a favorite dinosaur?
Oh, the Santosaurus Rex, of course.
Oh, little dinosaur humor. We were talking, we were getting ready for this, and we were talking about some of our favorite Christmas memories. So we wanted to share with some of the boys and girls and with some of the people who are watching, and with Santa and Mrs. Claus, who I'm sure will remember this because it wasn't that long ago that we were little boys and girls. Our favorite Christmas memories. Claudia, do you want to talk about your favorite Christmas memories?
Don't know if I have one particular favorite. As a military family moving across the country, spending time overseas. I'm also German background. So I think what I enjoy most is all the different celebrations and traditions that Christmas brings to everybody as an individual. There's different foods, there's different ways that they celebrate with family. People open presents different days, not just on Christmas Day. And I think as a military family, you have an opportunity to meet so many different unique people with their own traditions, and you get to share that. And I've learned so much about how others celebrate Christmas and celebrate the holiday season in general, because it's more than just about the one day. So I think that's probably my most favorite thing about Christmas.
What about you, Darby?
I think my most favorite thing about Christmas would be the music. Christmas music is really special. It makes you feel happy when you're kind of down. You can sing it alone. You can sing it with friends and family. And you can really actually sing it all year round if you're anything like me.
What's your favorite Christmas carol, Darby?
Oh, that's a great question. I would have to say, We Wish You a Merry Christmas. It's a classic.
Santa, do you have a favorite Christmas carol?
Jingle bells.
Mrs. Claus?
Rudolph.
Oh, yes. Obviously. I think my favorite memory is when I was very little. My parents used to have all the entire family come. So it would be, I think, the only time of the year when I would see my grandparents from both sides of the family. And they had to invite lots of aunts and uncles. So my dad used to put all of the tables in the house in a big long line. Some of them were higher than others. And the entire living room and dining room was one long table. And we used to play with the Christmas crackers. So we would have those paper hats on their heads and watching everybody laugh, because the grown-ups always seemed so serious all the other times. But it was one time of the year where they were laughing and singing and playing with us and really having a good time. So I think those are my favorite memories around Christmas, is around the people. Santa, do you have a favorite thing about Christmas, a favorite memory that sticks with you all the time?
Well, Santa's favorite thing about Christmas is when he gets to meet the kids. And then he gets to look in their eyes, because when you look right in a child's eyes, you can see whether they're naughty or nice. And most of them are nice. And they're so, when they see Santa, some of them are scared, some are happy, some are so excited that their eyes just light up. And that's my favorite memory of Christmas. That's why I do Santa Claus, is for the children. And that's my favorite thing.
Mrs. Claus?
Oh, my favorite thing is waking up late the next morning and getting to see the joy on on the faces of everyone in the families. Just opening the presents and relaxing for a change. There's nothing left to do. Just enjoy the morning.
So Santa gets to relax the day after Christmas as well.
Yes.
And
Yes.
because he's eaten all of those cookies all the way along the line, do you make him settle down on the sweets for a while? And does he have to eat a little bit more vegetables into the new year? Or
A healthy diet of green and orange vegetables is definitely on the menu after the 25th. And really, I do make him take evening walks regularly with me to try and keep us both in good shape.
My mom and dad used to put tangerines out for Santa because they thought that Santa ate enough sweets throughout the year. So we were the ones that left you tangerines, Santa, and I apologize that they weren't cookies.
Ah,
I appreciate you.
oh, Santa likes fruit too.
Good job.
I like it all.
Do you have any last Christmas wishes you'd like to leave for the boys and girls, Santa?
Well, I just hope they all can enjoy it. And even if you don't get time with your family because of COVID, just remember they're still with you. You just have to think about them more. So now is the time to practice, to go reach out, maybe give them a call. Call them on the phone. Don't just text them or Facebook them, call them or do a video chat with them. And then you can actually see them. It's like you're in the room.
Now, Santa, you were wearing your Christmas bells, and you told me something before the call started that I didn't know about the Christmas bells. Why do you wear the bells?
Well, these are the real sleigh bells. You can tell by the sound. And here's the new ones. Big difference, eh? Well, these real ones, when we put them on the reindeer because they don't have any lights. And if you're out in a car in a snowstorm and you're driving, if it's really bad, you can't see lights. But if the reindeer has the bells going, you can hear them even in a storm because the bells get really loud when you're outside and you're up high there, you can hear them better. So now that's so you can hear the reindeer when they're coming. So I always tell the kids, the big thing to remember is you have to go to sleep as soon as you hear the reindeer bells, because the reindeer can't land on your roof if you're awake. So you have to go to sleep so they can land and they don't have to do an extra trip around the world to get back to your place.
Well, that's something to think about.
Yeah.
Mrs. Claus, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
Oh, just thank you for tuning in with us, and also keep the spirit of Christmas. Be kind, be good, everyone. Think of everybody around you. Spread that Christmas spirit. That's what keeps Santa and I going.
Now, we just had a question that came in on the chat, and it is from our friend Sky. And Sky is wondering, why does Rudolph like to leave orange peels everywhere in the living room? Is he just being a rascal?
Are you sure that's not the elves?
Are the elves messy, Mrs. Claus?
Oh, they can be quite mischievous. They can.
Santa, are you going to ask your staff when you're visiting Sky's house this year? Are you going to ask them to be a little tidier?
Well, I don't know. It seems like orange peels are pretty good. There's nothing wrong with that. That we'll have a talk with them though. But
And
I thought of one other thing I'd like to mention to the kids.
Sure.
Even if you can't afford to do something for Christmas or you can't give something, there's one thing you can always give that's free. And that is you can give somebody a big smile. And even remember, if your mask is on, they can see you in your eyes. Your eyes go, they can see that you're smiling. Give them a big smile and wave and say, Merry Christmas. It's free, but the older people, it makes them feel so nice and warm inside. You help them out just by it with a smile and a wave and a Merry Christmas. So a Merry Christmas to all of you.
Thank you, Santa. Claudia, do you have anything that you want to say? This is our last fireside chat of the year. Is anything you'd like to say as a send off?
Sure. As the holiday season approaches, I think it's more important than ever to cherish time with families. And like Santa said, if you can't get together in person, video chat, Zoom, FaceTime, whatever video app you're using, it's important to stay connected. I just want to say a huge thank you to the PMFRC team for their work and their commitment. They've made a difference for all of our families. They've been very innovative in how they've adapted their programs to meet the needs of the families. And they're very resourceful in the way that they're doing that with some really good, amazing results. To the board of directors, their gift of time and commitment over the past few months have been tremendous. We appreciate the support and encouragement that they continue to provide. To the families, a special thank you for your continued support. Any accomplishments that we've had this year could not have happened without your collaboration and your confidence in us, which is hugely important. It's definitely been a bit of a rough year, but we've achieved a lot under those circumstances. We're really looking forward to some new and exciting adventures in 2021. And so on behalf of the team and board of directors, I'd like to take the opportunity to wish you and your families a very festive and safe holiday season.
Thank you all for joining us, boys and girls. Thank you for sending in your questions, sending in your letters. If you have any other comments or questions that you like to add them into the chat, and we will make sure that we get them to Mrs. Claus so that they are not missed in that last count. Mrs. Claus, thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate you taking the time. I know that this is a very busy time for you, and your tree is lovely.
Thank you.
Santa, what can I say? Thank you. Give Rudolph a big hug for all of us. And thank him for all of the training that he's doing with all of the other reindeers. And thank you for joining us and taking the time to answer our questions. Merry Christmas to everybody. Thank you all for joining us. There's only 9 days left until Santa comes. So there's plenty of time to get in those last good deeds, get that letter written. And just as Santa said, just smile and say Merry Christmas to people. You never are too short of time to be kind to another. So thank you and have a wonderful day.
Bye, everyone.